Hi everyone. A viewer of mine some time ago asked me some questions about traffic patterns in big cities such as Paris. He's a rider in Chicago, I think he told me. Chicago, DC. And or was going to become a rider and was not afraid but anxious about all the traffic. So this is going to be kind of a tutorial, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert enough to make a tutorial. I'll just say those are recommendations for when you're riding in heavy traffic, such as this one, such as traffic in a big city, in a big capital like Paris. The first thing you have to know is that the traffic rules, they're not respected by anyone, and when they are, that's it's a specifically Latin European problem, but they're not respected by anyone. If everyone respected the traffic rules, there wouldn't be a problem. So, for example, in France, in any street that's not considered as a main road, you'll have to give way to the right. But in Paris, for example, this road is a big one, this street is a big one, and the one on my right isn't. So, well, there's a light. But if there was not a light, normally the priority would be to the people on my right. But in practice, most of us would just go ahead. That's the first point I wanted to talk about, is that you cannot just follow the masses and go ahead by yourself. You should either stop and check in your rear mirror if nobody's going too fast, for you to be able to stop properly and let the people on your right pass, or you should at least slow down and check if there's no crazy person on the right going super fast and forcing the passage. Why would that exist? Because remember I said nobody respects the rules. Well, actually that's actually a bit wrong. There are some who respect the rules, but they feel entitled to enforce them. See pedestrians crossing on the green light for me, you know, that's the city people. So that's the second thing. Some people will respect the rules of the road because they feel they're entitled to enforcing them, and that's something you'll have to consider. Also, remember that in a city, and that's valid for, I say in a city, but I guess it's valid for other places as well, but usually what happens is the person who has the right to do something by law will always do it and feel right about it. But so that means that the rules of the road are good only when they please you. When they don't, you'll have a tendency to not care about them. Okay, one other thing. Cities. There's a lot of pedestrians and there's a lot of bicycles in cities. So you have to take care of those too. When you're doing what I'm doing right now, you should always have an eye on the person in front of you, because bus lanes are always full of people, see, who are trying to park or all of that. So the person in front of you might brake suddenly. And then there's another thing you should watch, is the cars on the left, because they can also make a sudden move to turn to the right. And forget about signals. People in Paris and in big cities in Europe, and I guess everywhere in the world, they always forget to put their turning signals. So what you have to watch is their rear view mirror on the side, because most of the times you can see their head. and you can see where it's pointing at, and you can guess the behavior of the driver in front of you. And the second thing you have to watch is their front wheel. If you see a sudden move in the front wheel, then it means you... Oh shit, my choke is on. Fuck. Then it means you probably also should... Oh. That's interesting. Yeah, well, it means you probably should slow down and let the guy pass, because he's not gonna see you. If he doesn't signal, he's not gonna see you. And also, if he does signal, you should check his behavior anyway, because some signal and don't look in their mirrors, like this one on the right that just entered the road. So he didn't see me, he didn't look to his side, so I stayed away, because I knew if I got on the road I'd be squashed. Also, when you're gonna pass, I know it's a lot of rules, but it's a lot of recommendations, but see this guy, for example, switching lanes, no signal. So you gotta watch out, man. It's really hairy sometimes. He's got this Fiat 500 Abarth, so it feels like he's a race driver. The only thing he forgot is that he's focusing on the front and not on what is in his sides. So here, for example, you can see that the traffic in front of him is blocked, and he has a small car. So what he'll do is he'll act like a motorcycle and switch lanes all the time without looking, and all of that. When you are riding behind someone in a city and you see that the traffic is a bit, full, a good thing to do is do not accelerate right away to pass the guy. First, enter the lane and check if you've got enough space to do it, and then accelerate. In a car, you need momentum, because your car isn't powerful enough to just take off, but a motorcycle is. So you have time, believe me, to just change the lane, see if you can do it, and if you can do it, press hard on the accelerator and don't wait to do that, because of course that would ruin the whole thing. In this situation there's no danger, because the traffic is stopped. The only real thing you have to watch for is pedestrians crossing the street in the middle of nowhere, and fuckers like this one who are trying to defend their position. And then you have to make yourself heard. There's no other way. Can't see shit. So yeah, in conditions like that, the traffic is stopped. Watch for pedestrians. They do not look for cars or bikes, especially not bikes. When they're passing in front of a car and crossing the street, they'll just go straight forward and not look. That's a danger. It really is. One other thing, people tell you, on a motorcycle, lifesaver checks are not really necessary because you're going faster than anyone else. This is not true. You should always have an eye on your rear view mirror. See the scooters there? They're passing. If I had the idea of doing the same thing they're doing, which I won't do because I know this street and it's a pain in the ass when you do it. There's too much risks, too much cars that can just switch directions and smash you to the side. So it's really not worth it. People trying to enter on the road, not caring about your position, all of those. See here, he tries to force it. You have to riding in a big city with a motorcycle is mostly about risk assessment. You read the road and you assess the risks that it contains. Also, when you get a green light, don't don't assume that you'll be able to pass safely. I've seen plenty of times, well, that happens every day actually. I film it every day. People passing on a red light. They don't give a shit. And if you're a motorcycle, well, if you're in a car, it's no problem. You have the comfort and ability to just go through the intersection and not really give a shit about it, because you're in a car, so who cares? You're going through the green light. If the guy hits you, it's his responsibility. So, well, in a country like France anyway, the guy will pay for the damage. So it's really not a problem. But if you're on a bike, it's not about damage repair. It's about you. It's about having a broken leg or a broken arm, or worse.